Evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to the Lansing School District Board of Education regular board meeting dated for December 4th. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Trustee Kavanaugh, could you please read our mission statement and land acknowledgement?
Absolutely. The mission of the Lansing School District is to provide a high-quality education in a culturally safe and nurturing environment that supports all students to live purposeful and fulfilling lives. We collectively acknowledge that the Lansing School District occupies the ancestral, traditional, and contemporary lands of the Anishinaabe Three Fires Confederacy of Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi peoples.
Thank you. Could the clerk please call the roll?
Dr. Kavanaugh,
Present.
Mr. Hurd, Mr. Lopez, Mrs. Moore,
Present.
Dr. Nevarez Martinez, Mr. Novisky, Dr. Rodriguez, Mrs. Strode, Ms. Williams. Quorum is present.
Wonderful. And I am aware that Dr. Nevarez Martinez will not be in our presence today, and also Trustee Strode. All righty. Moving on to public comment on agenda items, and seeing none. Are there any, for our approval of minutes from our last meeting from November 20th, are there any corrections at this time? All right. Seeing none, we have a presentation this evening, our audit presentation. And if Kim could bless us and introduce our guest as we move forward in our presentation.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm pleased to have our auditors here from Manor. We have Steve Piesco and Sherry Blankenship, and they will be presenting the audit.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. Start out with thanking Kim, John, the rest of their team. Some of them are here. Great job. The audit went really well, as it has in the past. Been done for a couple months now, obviously. Just getting to the summary. With the exception of the single audit part and the federal part, which Sherry will discuss in a little bit. But just a quick overview of Manor here. We do over 135 schools across the state. We're really involved in all the school business official groups and school groups across the state, the MDE groups on standard setting guidance and help with all that stuff. So pretty entrenched in our schools, one of our most important niches, and we appreciate the opportunity to work with Lansing. So summary on the audit results. This is an unmodified opinion, so as you've seen in the past, the best opinion the district can receive. There is one new paragraph when you look at the audit report on a change in accounting principle for GASB 101 or Government Accounting Standard 101, which was, we talked about last year for those that were here, change the rules for recording compensated absences at the government-wide level. Again, doesn't affect your general fund, but this resulted in lowering the bar, I guess, to what's considered a liability to from more likely than not to probable, or from probable to more likely than not, sorry. That resulted in just over a $3 million additional compensated absent adjustment that you'll see when you look at the audit report. We do a pretty extensive review of internal controls, especially in the federal compliance area. We test compliance and controls there, as well as your key transaction areas. Happy to report there was no material weaknesses or deficiencies in controls, and all the controls are taken very seriously. From the management discussion analysis, a couple highlights here. This is the kind of the 10 to 12 page, we call it the Reader's Digest version, if you will, of the rest of the 80-page audit report. Highlight a couple things. You'll see the student enrollment. It ticked up a little bit in 23-24, and then it was down about 86 students blended count for 24-25. And then there's one section that's got a lot of good information on the bond and several other things going on, but highlighted one on factors bearing on the future. There's a couple pages on things that are ongoing and looking forward versus the rest of the audit report that kind of looks back. And that's obviously the extensive almost $9 million on the electric bus project that's continuing, as well as several solar projects around the district that are continuing. From the fund level, there's four major funds. The general fund, about $142 million of assets, predominantly cash and investments, as well as state and federal receivables for July and August. And then on the liability side, about just under $90 million, which is predominantly unearned revenue for categorical grants that have specific expenditure requirements that haven't been spent yet, as well as July and August teacher pay and retirement is the biggest liability side. Ending fund balance of $52 million. The other three major funds are capital projects funds. You'll see the new fund there for the 2025 capital projects fund, where you received just over $71 million, including the premium for additional new bond projects. Altogether, though, total, you have about $84 million combined to spend as of June 30 on the various capital projects. On the revenue and expenditure side, again, general fund, just under $227 million of revenues, just over $227 million of expenditures. You were able to transfer, or you did transfer about $4.9 million out to other funds out of the general fund, resulting in a decrease in fund balance of $5.4 million. Ending your fund balance at the $52.1 million that I mentioned. That's 22.94% of your general fund expenditures. So it's a good fund balance. Just to put it in perspective, the prior year average, because that's all the information that's out at this point, for the state of Michigan was 24, and for Ingham County was 21.5. So you're right in the middle of there. On the major capital projects funds, you were able to have revenues of about $2.7 million, which is your investment earnings on those funds, so that was good. And you spent just about $45 million on capital projects throughout the year. So there you also see the $71.7 million on the new bond for the sale of those bonds, which was $67.5 million plus about $4 million in premium. On the notes, a couple of highlights. Again, I mentioned a little, but the capital projects funds we audited extensively in accordance with Section 1351A, which is your bonded construction fund requirements set by the state, as well as the voter-approved bond language. No issues identified there. Everything was spent as intended. There was, like I mentioned, $45 million of expenditures. We also audit the sinking fund very extensively in accordance with the sinking fund requirements. The total millage was maintained and remained 4.1 mils for the district, which is fairly on the low side. Several districts across the state are in that 7 to 12 mil range. Note 3, just again highlighting your capital assets. You added about $56.5 million, of which you had $7.3 million of depreciation on. Your total capital assets across the district, net of depreciation, is just over $261 million. There's 5 bonds outstanding, counting the new one at year end. Those are payable through 2047 and in total just over $224 million. So you can see you're paying your bonds down even with the new ones much faster than your capital assets are depreciating, so that's good because you still have $84 million of cash related to those bonds at this point too. A couple new notes, note 12 and 13, and the last couple notes in the financial statements. Again, reference the opinion where I mentioned the compensated absences, where you adopted it in accordance with standards as required, so that's good, and resulted in that $3.3 million adjustment on the government-wide, again, not your general fund. Probably the most important statement, the general fund budget to actual. Tremendous job on this. Quite impressive, really. The original budget called for about $9.9 million use of fund balance. That was amended to just under $6.4 million. In the final budget, you end up using $5.4 million, so $980,000 favorable budget variance. That's 0.4% of your general fund expenditures. So on $227 million, that's very, very close. Basically spending 99.6% of every dollar, and you're not allowed to go over. So very good on the budget side. From the graphs, this is just putting in graphical form the revenues that we mentioned. You'll see a couple shifts here. The biggest one on the revenue side is the orange, the darker orange. The federal revenue went down substantially, and again, that's because the ESSER funds came to conclusion at the beginning of this year, so those went down quite substantially. And then on the expenditure side, the dollar amounts didn't really shift, but the percentages shifted, again, predominantly because of the extensive, this is all your funds together, so the extensive capital projects activity in the yellow-orange color there. You spent $77 million in capital outlay this year, which obviously lowered the instruction and support on a percentage basis because you spent so much additional. But from there, turn it over to Sherry to discuss the single audit, which is a little unique this year, and a few of the letters, comments.
Yeah. So if you looked at the financial statement packet that was given to you, the financial statements only have the financial statements and notes. The single audit is not included because the compliance supplement that we're required to use to audit and follow those procedures was not issued until actually the day before Thanksgiving. So we had the draft, we performed all the audit procedures, we knew what was coming. It's just that it was in draft form, and so now we're just waiting to finalize that. So I have all of the results to present to you today. So for the single audit, the district had total federal awards of over $39 million, as you can see there. We looked at two major programs, the Child Nutrition Cluster and Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds. Those were tested. Both programs were required to be tested due to rotation once every 3 years. The district did qualify as a low-risk auditee, which means we were only required to test 20% of federal expenditures, and with those two programs, we tested 27% for coverage. And then now kind of going back to the top, when we're looking specifically at those programs for federal awards, no material weaknesses were identified, no significant deficiencies. We're issuing an unmodified audit opinion over the single audit, and there were no other findings to report there as well. So the next slide with the audit, there's two letters that we provide. The governance letter, it's required communication. There were no issues identified in that letter. And there was a management letter issued just to state that the food service fund has excess fund balance. 33.3% is fund balance allowable, and the district is at 51%. You can see that there, so you'll just be required to submit a spend down plan for fiscal year 26. And then future considerations, you can see this state aid foundation allowance increased for fiscal year 26, up from the previous 2 years. And then for fiscal year 26, there's going to be two new GASBs that are going to be issued. It's not going to be as extensive as what you would have seen for fiscal year 25 compensated absences. There's just going to be some additional reporting related to GASB 103 and GASB 104 we already present in that way, so there will not be any change there. I'll just reiterate what Steve had said at the beginning. Thank you to Kim and the whole team. We get to present the audit, but it's really the hard work of everyone at the district that allows us to present an unmodified opinion with no findings. So thank you.
Thank you for that complex audit. Are there any questions from our board members at this time regarding the audit? Yes, Trustee Nowinski.
Yes, one question would be on the tax millages. You mentioned here we're a little bit lower than some other districts in the area. Related to that is when we collect our millages, one thing, we have some municipalities that collect 50% summer and winter. Do you have any experience with that in other districts? Is that common, or we'd like to collect 100% in the summer? if
Summer, yeah.
possible?
As many as possible have shifted to full summer collection just on cash flow. You obviously accelerate that. And you guys have not had to borrow state aid notes, but a lot of times if they don't do a summer collection, you don't have the extensive unearned revenue and that Lansing may have. They often have to borrow on the state aid note to cover the September. If they shift that up to all summer collections, it's better cash flow, and obviously a lot of times they can avoid having to do that.
So is that fairly typical in most
It
municipalities
is fairly
now?
typical now, yep.
Okay.
I have one other one I know that's split, but most of them have shifted to full summer levies
Okay,
for the school.
thank you. And my second question would be more for the administration. Is there a spend down plan in place for the food service budget?
There is.
Okay.
Actually, if we had been able to purchase all of the equipment for the cafeterias for our new builds, it would have been fine. But there's a delay in when we can actually make the purchases. It'll occur this year. So we should be spent down, plus we've hired additional staff to help with the service.
And you did spend it down $440,000 last year, but it was 56%, I think, before, and it has allowed now the flexibility to any kitchens or renovations on the bond stuff can come out and be paid for directly by the food service fund, and that's what'll get it down below at this point.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Nowinski. That was my ask. Thank you for lifting that. Are there any other questions from our board members at this time? Vice President Lopez?
Thank you. On the students, and this is probably for staff, or this reflect students that are counted, or does it include GSRP, adult ed?
Oh, the 10,000.
The number reported here for 24-25,
I believe that is K-12.
K-12. It's not GSRP or adult education, and also the our online.
Those would be included.
Those would be
As part of
included.
the 12,
Okay,
yep.
all right. But the GSRP or not?
Correct.
So students per se, then we have more than what's reported here. This is just
Right.
K-12,
If we
okay.
included GSRP, I think it's like 450 more kids.
150, so it'd be, put us over
That's
10,000.
yes.
Yeah, okay, but just yeah, thank you.
Welcome. If I may, I would like to introduce you to the 4 directors that work on audit.
Yes, please.
John Lang, our Director of Purchasing and Risk Management. Danielle Hardestreet, our Budget Director. Nikki McZee, our Competitive Grants Director. And Joshua Renier, our Grants Director.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us this evening. And thank you for all that you do for the district. Thank you. All righty.
Thank you.
Yes, any more questions? Treasurer Kavanaugh.
Not a question, just a comment. I just want to commend Ms. Adams and her team for their great work this year. It's been really a pleasure to work with them as part of the Finance Committee. And it was no surprise at all for me as treasurer to have such a positive conversation with the folks at Maynard Costerison when we were when they were doing the audit. So I just want to congratulate the team on their great work.
Thank you.
Wonderful. All righty. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All righty. Moving on to our reports from our officers. Trustee Williams, could you please be so kind to read the Secretary's report this evening?
Good evening. I hope you can hear me. So, the Secretary's report: high school arts performances, and middle school and elementary arts performances. Check your school for the December performance dates, but if the president would allow, I already have them wrote down, if I can give those. Okay. So yesterday, Pat and Gill had their winter concert held at Eastern. Willow's winter concert will be 5:30 on 12:10 at Riddle. Everett's Fall Dance Showcase will be from 6 to 7 on 12:12. Everett's Choir Concert will be 12:16 at 6 to 7. Eastern's Winter Dance Concert will be the same day from 7 to 8. And Saxton's Winter Choir and Band Concert will be the same day, which is December 16th from 7 to 8 as well. December 17th, the White Ridge Holiday Showcase will be from 1:30 to 2:30. Gyrie Park Holiday Around the World will be from 2:15 to 2:45. And Easter's Band Concert will be from 7 to 9 that day. Please remember, if you are, participation in Lansing Parks and Recs basketball is free for the winter. Check your school for more information. Winter break will be December 22nd through 31st, no school. Our next board meeting will be next Thursday, December 11th. It's a special meeting at 4 o'clock, and then our ISS will follow at 6. Then December 18th, we will have a regular board meeting. And then January 8th, 2026, our annual organizational meeting and regular board meeting. Madam President.
Thank you, Trustee Williams, for that thorough report. I appreciate that. Moving on to our committee reports. The Equity Committee. Dr. Kavanaugh?
Yes, Trustee Strode and I are working on reconstituting the Equity Committee with community partners, community folks. We don't have an update at this time, but we'll hold the space for 2026.
All righty. Good to hear. Facilities Committee, Vice President Lopez.
There's no report.
No report? All righty. You could tell it's the holiday, huh? Okay, our Finance Committee, Dr. Kavanaugh.
The Finance Committee will be holding our December meeting on December 15th at 12:30. These meetings are open to the public, and I will have a report after that meeting.
All righty. And we have our Personnel Committee, Vice President Lopez and Mr. Trustee Nowinski.
I will send it over to Trustee Nowinski.
Personnel Committee has not met since our last meeting. The next meeting is Wednesday, December 17th at 8 o'clock. We'll be continuing the policy review of staff-related policies.
All righty. I had a, okay, next is our Policy Committee, and it looks like Dr. Navarez Martinez shared with me that you will be reporting on behalf of the Policy Committee this evening. Trustee Nowinski.
Yes, thank you. The Policy Committee met on November 25th. Board members present were Dr. Navarez Martinez, Dr. Rodriguez, Trustee Hurd, and myself virtually. The following policies are being presented tonight to the board for second reading and board approval. PO 0122.1, school visits. PO 0175.1, school board convention and workshops. PO 4120, employment of support staff. And PO 9150, school visitors. So those are all on the agenda for action after this report. The committee did discuss looking into formation of policies around board committees, the types of committees and details for those. Also, we began discussion about the student handbook to be reviewed for board policies that have a reference to some item that needs to be included in the handbook to see if those still should be included in board policy as requirements or not. And then also there was a request to do this similar kind of review for any mentions of items in board policy that should be included in staff handbooks or parent guardian communications as well. So there was a request for the Personnel Committee to look at the staff portion of that work, and so we'll be reviewing all the board policies to try to find any references to see if they're still relevant, if they are actually in the handbooks, or if they should maybe be removed from board policies. Also, there was initial discussion about policy 5610 on emergency removal, suspension, and expulsion of students. This is going to be under further review with assistance from the Office of School Culture. Junior Board of Education shared some newly developed administrative guidelines to complement the current student government policy, which will include junior board officer attendance at one board meeting per month, starting with an ISS meeting, and consideration of the addition of seats on each side of the horseshoe for students. The Policy Committee met again this week on Tuesday, December 2nd. Board members present for that meeting were Dr. Navarez Martinez, Dr. Rodriguez, Mr. Hurd, and myself. We had Pat Krager from Neola presenting fall updates. Their recommendation was to look at 9 policies. There are 3 mirrored policies under administration, professional staff, and support staff. In each section, there'd be 3 policies that they're recommending to combine into one policy. They address similar enough topics. So we had initial discussion on shaping proposals on those, and there's still a little bit of final work to be done on those. So they may be ready for next week's board meeting or a soon-to-come board meeting. The policies that were discussed in that regard were 2910, 2266, 2412, 4162, 5120, 7540.02, 8300, 8305, and then a rescinding of 7541. So again, these are Neola updates to what they recommend. The committee is going to continue to review policies 5517 and 1422 and the committee formation board bylaw portion of the policies and how committees communicate.
Perfect.
So the committee is pleased to report the completion of many policy reviews, revisions, and approvals during the year. And if there are no other questions, we could move into the motions for the policies that are being recommended for adoption tonight.
Yes, Trustee Williams.
Can you repeat what Neola wants us to relook at again? 2910, 2266.
2910, 2266, 2412, 4162, 5120, 5740.02, 8300, 8305, and 7541 to be rescinded.
Thank you.
All righty. May I have a motion?
President.
Yes, Dr. Rodriguez.
President, I move that the Board of Education suspend the requirements of bylaw 0131.1 for previous notice of the policy amendment and allow for immediate amendment of the bylaws 0122.1, bylaw 1175.1, policy 4120, and policy 9150.
Thank you.
Second.
So it's been moved by Trustee Rodriguez, second by Trustee Hurd. If there's no further discussion with our board, could the clerk please call the roll?
Dr. Kavanagh,
Yes.
Mr. Hurd, Mr. Lopez,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Nobisky,
Yes.
Dr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Williams.
Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. All righty. Moving on to the second motion, it looks like.
Madam President?
Yes.
I move that the Board of Education amend bylaws 0122.1, bylaws 0175.1, policy 4120, and policy 9150 as proposed effective immediately.
Second.
Wonderful. It's been moved by Trustee Williams. It's been seconded by Dr. Kavanaugh. Are there any discussion amongst the board at this time? Seeing none.
Madam
Yes.
President, I'll just briefly kind of give a highlight of what these are for
Please
people
do.
following and for our own recording. Two of these items have been on the agenda for several meetings related to school visits and then specifically school visits by board members. So the change there to 9150 is primarily to remove the end portion that had referred to board member visits to schools and change a small piece in what's left for general communities and parent school visitors. And by removing the school board member portion, we are proposing the new bylaw, which specifically applies to board members of 0122.1, and that includes the guidelines that the board adopted in the fall as norms for visits, but puts them into the bylaws. There were some changes to that from the initial proposal, and that's why that's been on the agenda for a few weeks. So you see the final addition that the committee is now recommending for that new bylaw. That would no longer then have the board section in the later 9150, other than the small reference to if a board member is a parent and they want to visit a school as a parent, they're referred to that later policy for parents. The other two policies being recommended, one came from the Personnel Committee, which was to strike a line in 4120 regarding the employment of support staff. That policy currently had two conflicting statements about whether the board could employ a family member, and this recommendation is to remove the line that says they will not but may re-employ certain family members and instead leave in the line that's consistent with the employment for professional staff, which is that the board may employ a family member providing that the board member does not participate in that discussion or vote. So that's just removing the conflict within that policy. And then the last one is on school board conferences, conventions, and workshops. This is a change to the current language on reimbursement for meals. Currently, there's a set amount for the meals with the provision that certain cities could follow the GSA guidelines and some other details. And this proposal just says for all conferences, meal reimbursement should just follow the GSA guidelines.
Thank you, Trustee Nowinski. The motion is already on the floor. If there is no more discussion, thank you for that clarification. Could the clerk please call the roll?
Dr. Kavanagh,
Yes.
Mr. Hurd,
Yes.
Mr. Lopez,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Nowinski,
Yes.
Dr. Rodriguez,
Yes,
Ms. Williams.
Motion passes 7-0.
President.
Yes.
Thank you. I want to thank the administration because this year this committee has worked really in many policies that won't be able to do it without the support that we received from the deputy superintendent and for the office of the school culture and many others administrators. The same way we tell everybody how much we appreciate these administrators really were there, and also the executive secretary of the Claudia, secretary of the deputy superintendent. All of them were there telling us, giving us ideas and directions, and thanks to them, was able to do all these policies this year. And thank to the board members. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. All righty. Moving on to our yes, Trustee Hurd.
It didn't make it into the report, but on a lighter note, we also took the time in our last meeting to congratulate Dr. Dea Navarez-Martinez on a job well done as chair of the policy committee, as she will be leaving us to go and serve the city of Lansing. And I wanted to do that from this space as well, to congratulate her on a job well done. I'm going to take Dr. Nino's words. I haven't been on the board, but he said it's the most efficient policy committee he's ever been on since he's been in the board. And I will say that once the policy committee gets rocking, it starts rolling. And we've seen so much policy change for the better, making this a more excellent Lansing school district. So thank her again.
Yes, she's a great leader. All righty. Thank you, Trustee Hurd. Matter of fact, Trustee Hurd, recognition ad hoc committee report.
Hi, the recognition committee did not meet at its last meeting, but we will be having a meeting with the board members of the committee this coming Tuesday at 5 p.m. in this room. Wanted to also thank Mr. Ryan and his team for the nomination forms going out to the whole city, and want to invite our neighbors. Please nominate someone to receive this honor that comes directly from the Board of Education. If you know a shining star, whether they're an alumni, a community member, former teacher, even a student that you want to nominate to be recognized for what we're calling the highest honor outside of a diploma you can get from the Lansing School District, please send that in to us. Fill out the form online, and we would love to hear your story. The best part about this is that even if you're not one of the 12 people that gets the big medal or anything, we still are going to tell everyone's story we get. So one way or another, we want to recognize you. We want people to know what you've done to serve the Lansing community. Join us in our efforts to do that. Thank you, Madam President.
All righty. Thank you, Trustee Hurd. Moving on to our Student Achievement Committee, Vice President Lopez and Trustee Williams.
Thank you, Madam President. Well, we finally did it. We finally got together with the with the committee and had a really nice meeting on December 1st, and we worked on our vision and mission statement. We worked on asking for some of the information that we need to do work from the administration. Thank you to Jessica Benavides, who was there as a staff person. She gave us a report on the multicultural process to date. We're reviewing that and taking that information. And I'm going to ask Trustee Williams to read our our vision, and then Trustee Rodriguez to read our mission. Okay, then I'll read it. Okay, go ahead with the vision. No, this is a collaboration here, okay? Huh?
It is. Give me this. You do the first one, I'll do the second one. Okay, so which one am I doing now?
You're doing the vision.
Okay, our vision is every student is to be prepared to start at a university, trades, skills, or a professional living once they leave the Lansing School District. That is our vision.
Okay. And our mission is every student meets or exceeds all standards and objectives per grade level according to school, district, and state matrix. So that's the mission. And I think when we talked about it, Staff President was really following us and indicated that some of this is being done. So we're going to have a presentation at the next meeting of what things are happening that are fitting our mission. And of course, there's a lot of work to do. This was our first meeting. It was very productive. And I will let Dr. Rodriguez and Trustee Williams to say anything they want to add to it.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President Lopez. I think the whole board need to study clearly and take time to study the mission and the vision and the mission of this committee, because it's really the mission and the vision and the mission of the whole district. And I think we need to realign this vision and mission with the strategic plan and start all over. Maybe we have a challenge, we have an opportunity for all of us and for the district to really move our students and what we should be doing, learning, teaching, and learning. And that's what our vision is and our mission is, and I hope that we spend time all together dreaming what we really want to do in the next years. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez.
Trustee Williams, you have anything?
No, I'm good. I think we covered everything at this point. So.
Yeah. The only thing I want to add is that this mission really supports our district mission. And that's what we're trying to do, that there's no conflict there, but we should always keep an eye and be present with that mission and the mission of the committee. This is a working mission, the committee, all right? And of course, our overall mission for the district, this is a support to that mission. So that is our brief report of our first meeting, and we have scheduled our meetings on the 1st of each month at 3 o'clock.
President.
Yes, Dr.
Since we are in this spirit of holidays, congratulations to Mr. Lopez for being consistent and having these ideas about having this committee, because you wanted this committee a long time ago. And finally, we have it with us. Now it's our time to get it and go on. But congratulations and thank you. The ones who are going to benefit from this are going to be the students, the families, and the communities, and the future of our nation. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. All righty. This is great work that you all are doing. Moving on, our superintendent is not here tonight, but I was told that there's a video for us to queue up. Is that the truth? Yeah. All righty.
It's done.
Is it?
This was supposed to be shown a few months ago for a span period month,
Yeah.
but we have a little time, so we're going to do it now.
Okay. So our Hispanic Heritage Month video is being shown tonight.
When I moved here, I noticed how easy it is for people to put Hispanic in a single box. But then I met others.
I was raised in Mexico. Soy de Chile.
Our family came from Cuba.
I am Chicana. I am from Venezuela.
We all spoke Spanish, but with different rhythms.
Donde ellos bailan el baile nacional de Chile y eso me siente muy orgullosa porque él representa a Chile.
Different words,
Lotería is basically bingo, just the Hispanic way, and instead of numbers, we use pictures like the star, the frog, the moon.
different music in our voices.
It's always fun to share that with my students because, you know, culture shapes language and language shapes culture.
And that's when it clicked. Our diversity is our strength.
When I was younger, I used to be ashamed of being Mexican. Now that I become older, I'm like, being Mexican is amazing. It's like me giving back to after being ashamed and hiding about being Mexicans, and I can say, hey, I'm Mexican, I'm Latina, and I'm proud.
Our strength is in our diversity, and our strength is in our multicultural makeup of our students, and we're stronger together because of it.
Excelente.
When people first meet me, they often look surprised when I say I'm Hispanic. Blue eyes don't always fit the picture they expect. I smile and I say I'm from Argentina.
No matter what your background is, that you can grow up to make a difference in the world and enrich your communities.
We are united not by our uniqueness, but by our connections.
We building relationship and a strong sense of teamwork, and this value help me proud to teach my students.
It is okay to come from another country, and it is okay to come from a country where Spanish is spoken. And bilingualism is a superpower.
Hispanic Heritage Month isn't just about who we are, where we come from.
Para mí es importante el mes de la herencia hispana porque hace reconocer los valores, también la cultura de los hispanohablantes en Estados Unidos.
It's about being together.
A lot of our population comes from Hispanic countries where Spanish is spoken, and it is very important to honor and feel proud where they're from.
Hispanic heritage isn't one face, one color, or one story.
Diversity is the most important thing in this month because the students share with the other students from different countries.
It's millions of stories, all connected by a shared language and love for family, food, and celebration.
To give the kids some motivation, some encouragement, and empowerment to see others that have been in their shoes, and they can strive for that future success based on the role models that are Latinos, Latinas, and Hispanics.
Today, I celebrate that I'm part of a community as colorful as our flags and as varied as our accents.
Every time I roll my R's, I can hear my parents' hard work.
I celebrate every child who sees themselves reflected more than one way.
I hope that working here at Cumberland and Lansing School District that I can possibly inspire some of our Latino youth to pursue a career where they can help others and lead and serve.
Who learn that Hispanic means many shades, many roots, and one shared pride.
Wonderful, thank you. All righty, that was wonderful. Never too late, so thank you so much for sharing. All righty, next on our agenda under new business, we have updates to our board calendar. It is recommended that we adopt December 18th as a regular board meeting and January 9th as a possible special meeting. We have several things we'll need to cover before the year begins. We will be appointing a new board member, and we will also be having dialogue about what's next for our superintendent. So, with that being said, may I have a motion to adopt those dates?
Point of clarification before you do that.
Yes.
So you're, we're adding December 18th.
Yes.
Okay, so there's no other special meeting because you said we possibly looking at January 9th.
That would be a special meeting for
2026.
2026.
Okay, because right now it says January 29th is when
Oh.
we created the calendar. That's when we created the calendar. So it doesn't say anything about because our organizational meeting is on the 8th of 2026.
Right, and we want to adopt January 9th, 2026. Yeah, we want to adopt, that's just a typo, we just need to, it says, resolve that the board calendar previously adopted on January 9th, okay, be amended, I'm sorry, by inserting December 18th. or December 18th. Pardon me, Trustee Williams, you are correct. January 9th, though, was on my mind because we'll possibly be adopting that date as well for our appointee interviews. So thank you for that clarification. You're right on point. So with that being said, may I have a motion?
Madam President.
Yes, ma'am.
I move resolved that the board calendar previously adopted on January 9th, 2025 be amended by inserting December 18th.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved by Trustee Kavanaugh and second by Trustee Williams. Is there any discussion about those dates? Yes, Dr. Rodriguez?
Thank you. Is there any way that we can have the kind of the schedule about the appointment of the new board member?
Is there any way we can have a discussion about that?
No discussion, but can you send to us when you know it, what kind of the schedule?
Yes, that's exactly what I just confirmed the schedule, and I'm going to send it out tomorrow.
Okay,
I'll send
perfect.
that,
I
yes.
appreciate that.
Of course.
That way we can plan our lives too.
Yeah, right, we all have lives. Yes, so I will be sending that out. Trustee Hurd, your finger went up.
Yes, I had a point of clarification that I just whispered over to Trustee Nowinski. Are we able to vote about January 9th before the organizational meeting?
I don't think I'm not for sure. That's why I'm glad that, no.
I don't know the rules. We would have to schedule it at the organizational meeting?
Trustee
Or-
Nowinski, could you give clarification?
So the bylaws are state the board shall hold a meeting at least once each month on a date and a time and place determined annually by a resolution of the board, which occurs at the organizational meeting for regular meetings. For special meetings of the board may be called by the president or by any two members of the board, provided there is compliance with the notice provision of these bylaws. So I think it depends. If it were a regular meeting, that needs to be on the calendar, which we're amending right now. If it's a special meeting, those can be called at any time by the president or two board members.
And we'll know, so that meeting on the 9th would be considered a special meeting, not a regular board meeting. Yeah. So, yes, Trustee Williams?
I do have a question because my understanding is we cannot have an organizational meeting until we have a full, guys. Am I correct in saying that, Trustee? Okay, so we can do it with I just want a clarification on that.
Yep. Good, great questions. All righty. So I have a motion on the floor. I have a motion on the floor. It's been discussed. Could the clerk please call the roll, please?
Dr. Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Nowinski?
Yes.
Dr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Wonderful. Motion passes 7-0. So we have adopted December 18th for additional regular board meeting. So I have comments or public comment on agenda items. And I'm going to non-agenda items. You are on it. Thank you so much. On non-agenda items, and I'm going to call LeBron Stitt. If I did not pronounce your name correctly, please do not charge it to my heart. Please join us at the podium over here. You have 3 minutes to speak. Take your time. The board typically does not respond, but feel free to go right ahead.
Okay, awesome. Hello, I'm LeBron Stitt from Sexton. I just wanted to come here with a concern some of us seniors have. We were told we won't be able to decorate our caps, and we feel like it violates a right in a sense. It's a way to express ourselves. We feel like it's a way to express ourselves. We've seen like people on the internet do it. I'm not a huge fan of trends going into like real life, I guess, like trends on the internet going into like people's like day-to-day lives. But I feel like this is one of the things that could be an exception, just because it's very minor, and I feel like it won't affect a lot of people. I feel like it's a very personal thing as well. So yeah, that's all I have.
Well, thank you for that.
Yep.
All righty. Eric, I can't read you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, my right.
Yes.
Thank you, school board, for allowing me to be here. My name is Eric Almquist. I attend a group in Lansing called Lansing 360. It's a gun violence group, and it's open to everyone in the community. And I liked it so much, I actually drove out to where it was modeled after in Omaha to take a look at what they were doing. And I sat in on their meeting, and that was an auditorium that was filled with everyone from the community, from the superintendent to school board members to teachers to the mayor to the fire chief. Everyone was there in the community. So I came back and thought this would be a great place that I'd love to see some more of the community come out. So I said, hey, let me go ahead and write a letter to invite the school board to show up. I did get a response back that it is one that said, should we send this to the school board? So I don't know if it ever made it to you when I sent that invitation off. The second part is they seemed to be a little upset that they didn't think they had representation. They gave me a list of who was showing up at each meeting, who was scheduled. Loved that. Thought, hey, at this next meeting, I could go ahead and say hi to them. How are they doing? The last 2 meetings, there hasn't been any representative from the school. And I think when we have 12 and 13-year-olds with shots fired as charges against them, I think it's really important. One of the big things that happened in Omaha, their graduation, when they involved the schools, their graduation rates went up and their school reading levels went up as well. I love to see that same thing happen. So I have the information here. Just have someone show up to go ahead and a chance to be there. One of the thoughts was said to me, if they don't want to show up, let them know that they don't want to be part of it. I think you guys do. I think you guys want to be there and help mold this community we have. But I leave that up to you guys. So I please hope you guys will show up. It's on Wednesdays. They're doing one at night too, so you can't miss it. We need you guys there as part of the community. You're a big impact on the people who are experiencing gunshot violence. So I hope you can be there. I have some information sheets. I'll drop it off to the clerk. And I appreciate your time, guys.
Thank you. LeBron. Katie Lane.
Hi. Okay, I'm a senior at Sexton High School. I came for the same reason as LeBron, but I have a little bit more to say, I guess. So we do want to be able to decorate our caps. I know that Waverly is able to. They've been able to for a while, and they don't seem to have any issues with it. I understand the problem of the possibility of people putting something inappropriate on their caps, but I've spoken with students from Everett and Eastern, and their student governments have volunteered to kind of go through those to make sure that it's not like interrupting a teacher's time, but it's still making sure that everything is appropriate. And yeah, so it's really important to the seniors of our class, at least. We really want to be able to like show off our heritage and like just express ourselves through the caps. I'm not sure why it's not allowed, other than the possibility of something inappropriate being on them. But I really do hope that this is something that at least we can start the conversation on to get it implemented and allow us to be able to express ourselves this way. But thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Are there any comments from our no, this is taken care of. Is there any comments from our board members at this time?
Madam President, if I may.
Trustee Williams?
First, as we know, the holidays are coming. We usually adopt a family here at the dais. One of the suggestions that I made this year was that we support old newsboys. As we know, many children are going without shoes, coats, and everything like that. Our board secretary, if you are interested, will be collecting money. I have already made a donation. I just think this is something that we as a body and anyone that's interested, that's hearing us, if they would like to, please reach out to our wonderful, wonderful Secretary Alex and help us support old newsboys and our children who can't get coats, shoes, and boots. This is another way where we support our families in the community. Secondly, as I was watching the Hispanic National video, I had a piece of paper I was writing on because he kept saying, where did I write it? Give me just a second. Just had it. Caitlin, help me. Oh, he said our diversity is our strength. And he kept saying that, and I'm a person of words in my mind. So as he said that, I wrote down our diversity is our strength. If we capitalize on our diversity, differences in our multiculturalisms, we have created a superpower, which is the Lansing School District. We just need to remind ourselves that each one of us, even sitting next to each other, are different, but we all bring something unique that can change the world, that can impact the world, that can impact our district, but it starts here with all of us. So I think you probably will hear me say that from now on, because it just resonated in my spirit that our differences, our diversity, and our multiculturalism can create an awesome superpower, and that's us, the Lansing School District.
Thank you, Trustee Williams. That's awesome. I'm so glad you shared that. Diversity is our strength. Are there any other comments from our board members this evening? Trustee Hurd?
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to send a shout out to Superintendent Ben. I sent him a letter after the last meeting I was able to attend about the African American graduation recognition ceremony. And I kind of laid out for him where my heart was about it, and he wasted no time mobilizing his team for us to see this inaugural ceremony happen this coming spring for graduates, African American graduates in the Lansing School District, and has brought this to fruition. I wanted to say thank you to him and his team, and to those with the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, teachers, friends of the district who have already been working with the superintendent to see this done. I think it is huge for us, frankly, long overdue and huge, but there's no time like the present. For us to do this in a very grand way. He's got great ideas already about what this is going to look like and how it will be. And I sent him a text, said, hey, I'm going to shout you out for that. Also, I wanted to say a special thank you to really all of us. Dr. Dea and I were talking at the policy committee about this concept of siblings, in a way, working together, and sometimes we squabble, but at the end of the day, we get things done. And I've had my fair share of squabbles, that's no secret, but it has been a pleasure to see actual things moving the needle to make sure that those babies, like those ones that are here tonight, remain the central focus of why we are sitting here. And I wanted to say to the community, there's so much happening in our community, so much happening in our schools, and we're certainly up for much transition in the next few months, and then again in the next election cycle. We're going to see lots of changes, but I think they will all be changes for the better. If you have been teeter-tottering about sending your kids to Lansing schools, it's high time that you come home. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, Trustee Hurd. Are there any other comments from our board members at this time? All right, Vice President Lopez.
Thank you, President Moore. You know, as we are thanking staff for many things they do, I like to thank our staff with the what is called CPI, the group that meets with the building of the new schools. Capital Improvement Committee, and that's her. She leads this group, and as you know, that's the group that kind of brainstorms in terms of our new schools. We've seen one new school already, Mount Hope. Next week, we're going to go and visit the next school, which is the north side, Willow School, and we're going to ride on an EV bus. So, and those things don't just happen. I think that there's a lot of work that went on to get the buses for one, and also to talk about the efforts of the architects, the other staff that we contract and that we sit here. I've missed a few meetings, but I've been to a lot of them. But we sit here and look at the progress that's going on, and squabble about the color that we want to have on the walls. and you know, all those little things that sometimes become big things, but it's a lot of work. And our representative, and help me with his name again. Yeah, he does a great job in keeping the construction folks on time and on task. So to all the group, I just want to thank him for it. And we're coming to the end of the year, and we're going to continue doing that. But thank you very much, Christina, for your efforts. And ultimately, the board will decide, you know, everything. But the work that goes on behind the scenes is a lot. And I, on behalf of the board, thank you for that.
Thank you, Vice President. Well, if there's no more business before the board, meeting adjourned at 7:01.